Now, recently, Republicans and Democrats came to a bit of a compromise that both sides generally didn't like to avoid shutting down the government over Trump's ridiculous wall. Now, what it would do is it would shuffle some money, about $1.375 billion, to fund about 55 miles of bollard fencing, also known as steel slats, right? So it's not a concrete wall, so Trump can't necessarily call this a win, even though he could probably lie to his supporters and say, oh, the big, beautiful steel slats. Anyway, now this was in exchange, of course, for keeping the government open and reducing the beds of some detention centers by a small amount. I'd rather us get rid of those detention centers completely and stop actually imprisoning undocumented immigrants for coming over the border. Now, of course, conservatives were not thrilled. Sean Hannity, of course, called it a garbage compromise. And on Twitter, Ann Coulter attacked the president again. She tweeted out, Trump talks a good game on the border wall, but it's increasingly clear that he's afraid to fight for it. Call this his Yellow New Deal. Now, of course, she references, in a way, AOC's Green New Deal. Now, the Green New Deal has about 80% public opinion approval, right? Now, that's an incredibly popular program. It aims to get us carbon neutral within the next 10 years. Great. That's something that actually is needed. That addresses a real problem, climate change. It doesn't address a fake problem like immigration, right? Or hordes of people coming over the border. Because immigration, yes, there is issues with immigration. The fact that people have to wait 20 to 30, 40 years in order to be able to get into this country legally. That is a big problem with our immigration system, and we do need reform. So we could rush some immigration judges down there, expedite some cases, help people that are claiming asylum get into the country faster, make things more efficient, et cetera, et cetera. That is a real problem with immigration. Not, oh, people are coming over the border. No, there is net zero immigration. More people are leaving than coming in. And if you want to go after undocumented immigration or illegal immigration, if you want to call it that, well, most undocumented immigrants come here legally and stay over their visas. They fly in. They don't cross the desert. So, maybe we should actually target the real problem. But of course, people like Ann Coulter and a lot of the right wing, Donald Trump, well, they don't see the real problem. What they're doing is that they're basically demagoguing in order to get votes to stir up fear. So, that said, Trump, look, he's only kind of fighting for it, right? Because, look, the only reason that he is because he knows that his racist followers really want it. That they are deathly afraid of immigrants, of brown people coming in and apparently replacing them. It's like a conspiracy theory on the right that you have, and this relates to real anti-Semitism as well, that there are Jewish people that are funding caravans that are coming to replace Americans with Mexicans. It's weird. It's weird. And they're coming to take their jobs and their welfare, which is the Schrodinger's immigrant, which they are simultaneously taking your job and your welfare at the same time. That's crazy how that works. But look, this is not a real issue, right? But he knows his followers want it. He knows his followers are super, super afraid. And when you're afraid, you're easy to manipulate. So Trump's finally, in his second year, go, oh yeah, that's right, I got to build a wall. Oh crap, I just gave giant tax cuts to myself. So I got to do something on the wall or my followers are going to be extremely mad at me. And they're not going to vote for me in 2020, right? And there's another reason, of course. He knows he's lost. That's why he's not fighting for it, too. He knows another shutdown will be a disaster. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. Still, I had my reservations and I don't know if Trump's smart enough to realize the position that he's in is actually not really good. But no, it turns out he actually does have some self-awareness. And look, not only that, let's be honest, right? He knows he can lie to his supporters about the wall being built. He knows. And look, he knows that he can lie about it without actually building something. So it's a little weird, but again, he lies so often and so shamelessly to everyone, would it really be so much to believe that he could lie successfully to his own supporters? But there is one person that's not fooled, and that's Ann Coulter. She knows that there will not be a border wall, and she is not happy about it. Her and a lot of other conservatives, Tommy Lahren has also spoken up. Sean Hannity, of course. Fox and Friends, interestingly enough, says, take the deal, take the deal, take the deal. So there is a bit of a schism here on the right when it comes to this wall. So, look, I'm hoping that he does not find a way to fund the wall. I know Mexico's not going to pay for it. I know Congress is not going to approve it. And I know the emergency whatever that he's going to try to, or possibly try to declare, is also probably not going to work. So he's out of options. There will be no wall. And to that, I say, great. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.